Hey again, it's me, that HR video person. Who in the world does this? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, so in this video, we're gonna go over HR policy and procedures. However, before moving forward, I want to, one, thank you for watching this video. If you've watched multiple videos, thank you for watching multiple videos. And then I also want to encourage you to follow my channel because I'm going to try to create more videos more frequently, so I don't want anybody to miss out on any content that might help them while studying. Also, give me a comment below. I wish I could literally, but below, to let me know if these are helpful, what you would like me to do differently, and any topics you would like me to cover. These videos are as much for you as they are for me, so please help me out. Also, give me a like, because those are cool too, right? Anyway, now that I'm done promoting myself, let's move into an overall comprehensive view, macro level view of HR policy and procedures. As an HR professional, this is something that you're gonna have to be really familiar with. Every company's looks different. As you get into an organization, they more than likely will have an existing one. And if you're getting the aPHR exam, you're not going to be writing one yet anyway, so you'll have a frame of reference, but it could be something down the road that you will be writing. So HR policy and procedures in general, they provide the outline by which employees are likely to behave in the workplace. They contain rules on how employees must perform their jobs and interact with each other. An exam tip, according to my book, you ready guys? Exam tip, haha. Exam tip, human resource policies serve three major purposes. One, to reassure employees that they will be treated fairly and objectively. Two, to help managers make rapid and consistent decisions. And to three, give managers the confidence to resolve problems and defend their choices. So there are three major purposes on why HR policies and procedures exist. And that's one, to reassure employees that they will be treated fairly and objectively. Two, to help managers make rapid and consistent decisions. And three, to give managers the confidence to resolve problems and defend their decisions. So we're going to jump right into the ADA HR policy, which is the American with Disabilities Act, and then it's also amended by the ADAA, which is also relevant. So Title I of the ADA requires an employer to provide reasonable accommodation to those employees that have designated disabilities and people that are applying. If you're not familiar with disabilities, not everything is considered a disability. Like, for example, I am visually impaired. I can do these videos, but I need these usually, and glasses don't count. So that's why it has to have a designated or prescribed disability, whatever, however you want to word that. Basically, it requires companies to make reasonable accommodations, and reasonable accommodations are defined by anything that doesn't cause a company undue hardship. If it does, then a company can reject that. So, for example, say somebody works in their own office and they have ADHD, so as a reasonable accommodation, they need to be able to close their office door sometimes. That doesn't cause a company undue hardship. So that's definitely what they mean by that. I was trying to think of an example of the other way, and it just wasn't coming to me, but I can give you a what is, right? Then we go to the EEO HR policy, so the Equal Employment Opportunity. So compliance with the federal anti-discrimination laws required covered employers to inform employees of their right to be free from workplace discrimination and retaliation. The EEOC, under the Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, requires employers to post workplace notices, and covered employers typically include a policy statement on equal employment opportunity in the employee handbooks and other sources of workplace policies distributed to employees. The EEOC policy also applies to vendors, contractors, and other third parties to whom the employer conducts business. So equal employment opportunity, enforced by the EEOC, just basically giving employees the right to not be discriminated and harassed while they're at the workplace. So then we move on to our progressive discipline policy. Basically, in short, what this is just there's a matter of steps with your discipline. Usually starts with a verbal warning or counseling and ends in termination. But in the middle there might be a written warning after the verbal, then it might be termination or suspension without pay, then it leads to termination. So there are pros and cons to this. Pros are it helps like prevent unionization a little bit, and it kind of gives kind of in a way really just kind of covers your butt in a sense, where it's like, oh well, I was fair and how I fired these people, everybody followed the exact same steps. But then at the same time, it also can be really negative because it can prevent you from firing swiftly in case of a really severe circumstance. Then if you have to follow all of those steps, it can cause a little bit more of a headache. It kind of just depends on your company, the culture, and what's needed, but it should be designed very carefully. Then when we come into the employee handbooks and policy manuals, these are the topics that will need to be covered as you're writing one and what you should look for in yours. We have the non-disclosure agreements and conflict of interest statements. That's not required by law to be in any of them, but they definitely are in there a lot of times. Then you have your anti-discrimination policies, your compensation, and that clearly explains to employees that your company will make required deductions for federal and state taxes as well as voluntary deductions. The workers' compensation, your work schedules describing when you expect people to work and be there depending on their departments, your standards of conduct, your general employment information, safety and security information, and then with computers and technology. So that's just outlines policies for appropriate computer and software use and steps employees should take to secure electronic information. So that's a really high level overview. I'll try my best to write a little bit more in the description here, especially over that last part that I just covered. One more thing I do want to go over really quick though, when it comes to the ADA HR policies, the making a reasonable accommodations is a statutory requirement, so there's no getting around that. But other than that, that is our overview of HR policies and procedures. I hope you enjoyed. Again, leave me a comment, follow, and like, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!